If you're waiting till spring to start thinking about your garden, then I've got some bad news. When you see my garden completely packed with plants in the middle of spring, it's because there's plants that I started way back in February. But the good news is you're watching this in February, and over the next few minutes, I'm gonna tell you exactly what plants you need to be starting this month. We're gonna cover 5 plants you can start, even if you live in a cold climate, a mild climate, or a warm climate. So let's get started. Let's kick it off with the cold climate gardeners. I know you're looking for something to warm you up in the middle of February, and I've got just the thing. So at this time, you want to be thinking about plants that can get started indoors that can move out to the garden next month. All of these things are going to be frost tolerant, frost resistant. They're going to be able to hang in there in the coming months, even outside in your garden, because they don't mind the temps dropping below freezing. So first up are going to be some sugar snap peas. Yes, you can start these directly in the garden, probably as early as next month, but this is a great time to get a head start on your spring garden. You're going to start these peas indoors in root trainers so that your peas have plenty of room to grow those roots really down deep and be ready to transplant out underneath your trellises as soon as the soil is workable. The next thing you can start indoors this month is Swiss chard. This green is going to give and give and give in your cold season garden. You can move this out into the garden as soon as the temps start to warm and your soil becomes workable, probably in the next month or two. By starting these indoors right now, you're going to get a jump start on the season. You'll have really nice mature plants to move out to the garden, and you'll save tons of money by growing your own instead of getting them at the plant store. Plus, Swiss chard, when you grow it yourself, you get to grow these really cool, brightly colored varieties that I absolutely love and are hard to find at a local nursery. Next up is spinach. Spinach is a wonderful green to grow when it's cold outside. 1, because it can hang on when things get cold, but 2, because it's so good for us to keep us healthy during these cold, wintry months. By starting spinach indoors right now, you're going to get a jump start on growing it out in the garden. Spinach is really slow to start from seed, so by starting it indoors right now where it's nice and warm and toasty, you'll be able to have some nice mature plants to move out to the garden in about 4 to 6 weeks. Next up is parsley. Did you know you can get a ton of vitamin C from parsley plants, not just oranges? This is a great superfood to fill yourself up on when it's cold and flu season. Parsley is also slow to germinate, so it's really wise to start these seeds indoors right now. So by the time the soil is workable, you've got nice, beautiful, mature plants that you can move out to the garden to get a jump start on some delicious garden-to-table herbs as soon as possible. Finally, I'm combining dill and cilantro, just in case there's a few of you who don't care for cilantro. You know who you are. Dill and cilantro aren't as slow to start from seed as parsley, but they are great plants to begin from seed now so that you can move them out to the garden as soon as the soil gets a little bit warmer. These plants do not mind frost. They are frost resistant, frost tolerant, but giving them a little jump start indoors will give you loads of harvest well before you could do if you started seeds out inside the garden. If you're in a mild climate, you want to listen up because these are things you got to start this month. Potatoes! Yes, it is time to get your potatoes ready to go out into the garden. As soon as your soil starts to warm up, it's time to put your seed potatoes in the ground. You're going to get your seed potatoes from a farmer's market or from ordering online. Let those potatoes chit a little bit, meaning starting to let each of the eyes start to grow a little bit, and then it's time to move them out into the garden. You want to do this before spring arrives, before your last frost date. You want your potatoes planted throughout your garden space before you hit the warmer temps. Beyond potatoes, it's time to start some basil. Basil is one of the best things to grow throughout the warm season, and yours is coming up in just a couple of months. By starting basil indoors right now, you're going to maximize your productivity of your plants throughout the entirety of the spring and summer months. Basil is very easy to start from seed. You can do it indoors with a little bit of light, and your plants will be more than ready to put out into the garden as soon as you pass your last frost date. If you haven't started these yet, it is definitely time this month. Peppers take a really long time to grow from seed, especially indoors. So you might need a heating mat to get your temps up, and you want to plant these pepper seeds ASAP. These go out into the garden as soon as you pass your last frost, and that date is coming up in just a few months. So get these planted indoors right away so you've got nice mature plants to put out in the garden as soon as there's no chance of frost left in the forecast. Right alongside your peppers, you want to have tomatoes. Tomatoes also need a long time to get ready and start indoors, not as long as peppers, but still quite a bit of time. You want to give these at least 4 weeks, if not 6 to 8 weeks indoors before they go outside. So take your frost date, subtract back 1 to 2 months, and then it's time to start those tomatoes. These also might need a heat mat to get going if your basement or your seed starting area is a little chilly, and it's definitely going to need lots of light close to these plants to get these guys growing. Finally, it's time to start any large gourds that you want to grow in your garden as soon as frost has passed. If you want to grow pumpkins, if you want to grow spaghetti squash or butternut squash, right now is the time to start these from seed indoors because these need a lot of time to fully grow to full maturity inside the garden when it's warm. So get the jump start right now this month and you'll finally get that pumpkin you've been dreaming of growing. For my warm season friends, what can you not grow this month? Oh my goodness. So first off, do not pay attention to the quality of this sweet potato, okay? Just imagine this is a perfectly fresh sweet potato from the farmer's market. If you can find one from a farmer's market or get an organic one from your local grocery store you can find. Get a sweet potato, stick it in some compost, or you could dip it down in a glass of water, and you wanna grow slips from that sweet potato. Why? Because in just a few months, it's going to be time to put those slips out into the garden so that you can grow pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of sweet potatoes. So make sure you get your slips growing this month so they're ready to go out into the garden in about 2 months from now. Next up, we want to think about a basil that can last through a really hot summer, because if you're in a hot or warm climate, you're going to have a hot summer. Thai basil is my favorite for hanging on when the temps are literally in the hundreds. I grew Thai basil so many summers when I lived in Houston. My clients did too. I love the flavor. I love Vietnamese and Southeast Asian dishes, and they all have Thai basil. So plant some Thai basil indoors. It's super hard to find at local nurseries, but if you start now, you can have your own plants and you can host like the best Asian food party in the middle of the summer with basil you grew yourself. For warm season friends, you're gonna have tomato, peppers, cucumbers right now over the next 3 or so months. But when it comes to summertime, you're gonna have to switch and grow a different kind of fruit. One of those will be okra. Okra is a great fruit to grow during the hottest part of the year, and you want to start those seeds indoors now so they're ready to go out into the garden before it gets too hot around April or May. Eggplant is also a fruit that can withstand really high temperatures, and if you want to grow all kinds of fun types of eggplants, like the Japanese eggplants or the little tiny fairy eggplants, right now is the time to get those seeds and get them started. Again, so you can get them out into the garden before it gets too hot. And finally, we must have flowers. Zinnias are a great flower to grow through the heat of the summer, and you can start those seeds inside right now so that you have them to move out into the garden by April or May, so you can have a garden completely packed with loads of flowers that aren't just beautiful, but also support the bees and the butterflies, our two best friends. And there you have it. All the things that you need to be planting this month, yes, in February, to be sure that your spring, even your summer garden is amazing. Now you might have noticed as I went through every single climate that so many of these seeds are Gardenary seeds, and you can shop our entire 2025 seed collection at the Gardenary shop. We'll put a link to that right below this video. Now you gotta tell me in the comments which seed you are the most excited about planting. I know for myself in February in a mild climate, I cannot wait to plant a ton of different varieties of peppers and tomatoes. Now you know what to do. Share this video with your best friend, because friends don't let other friends miss the best seasons in the garden. Tell them they got to get on the ball and start planting seeds right alongside you. And while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a planting list again. Now I'll see you right here on this channel all month long, because we've got some of my favorite garden projects coming your way in the next few weeks. Stay tuned and I'll see you right back here next time.